What you've been told about social media being harmless is a complete lie. More than 1 in 4 heavy users now report clinical-level anxiety. In 2004, at Harvard University, and later at many colleges, researchers such as Luca Braghieri and Ro E. Levy tracked the rollout of Facebook and found that when it became available, campus-wide severe depression increased by about 7% among students. The core mechanism: our brains get hijacked by reward loops and identity-shaping feedback in social platforms. This is happening to you right now in 3 ways. Every time you scroll before bed, you're feeding a cortisol spike and rewiring your identity around others. When you compare your highlight reel to someone else's, your self-worth drops, your dopamine resets, your sense of self fragments. Your social media input is rewriting your internal narrative: who you are, what you want, and how you see belonging. But here's where it gets darker. All right, let's dive into how this phenomenon works inside your brain. Your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, lights up when you get a like or a comment because it signals social approval. Meanwhile, your prefrontal cortex, your executive self, should regulate it. But on social media, the constant hit of dopamine, the reward chemical, overrides that regulation. The hippocampus stores these social media episodes as parts of your identity story. I am popular, I am ignored, I am validated. Evolutionary reason: humans evolved to live in tight social groups. Feedback mattered for survival. Social media exploits that ancient wiring by making approval instant and quantifiable: followers, likes, comments. Proof 1. At Harvard and other U.S. colleges, when Facebook access expanded, the presence of the platform in a campus led to a 7% rise in severe depression among students. Proof 3. Another review found about 17.4% of social media users. But the twist is yet to come. Now this is the part that broke my brain. Case A. Historical reference. In 2018, a research team at the University of Pennsylvania ran a controlled study where they asked participants to limit social media to 30 minutes per day for 3 weeks and found loneliness scores dropped significantly compared to control group. That's compelling but rarely referenced. Case B. Modern extreme example. Consider a young adult in a remote college dorm, logging 5-6 hours night of passive scrolling, reporting constant worry about missing out, disrupted sleep, and identity confusion. If I'm not posting, do I exist? The feed-curated identity rewires her sense of self-worth. Case C. Celebrity personal story. When I first discovered this, I spent 12 hours reading neuroscientific papers so I could see how I was part of the mechanism. But the biggest shock is still ahead. Everything I just told you? There's a catch. A big piece of the puzzle is not just how much you use social media, it's why and how you feel during use. Some studies, Health Education and Behavior 2024, show that when social media is used as a tool for connection, with emotional meaning, it can support mental health. But when it becomes passive scrolling, comparison, identity seeking, the damage is worse. So the villain isn't the app alone, it's the pattern. Moreover, research from the pandemic, College Students 2020-21, found that heavy social media use didn't always predict depression. It was the displacement of other mental health protective activities, exercise, sleep, social connection, that drove the effect. So the unexpected consequence: you can spend less time on social media, but still be caught in the identity trap. Here's why this phenomenon is so powerful and so hard to outrun. It's exploited by social media platforms, by marketing algorithms, by influencers. They rely on your dopamine bursts, your identity seeking, your fear of missing out. It rewires your internal wiring. Your self-worth becomes contingent on external feedback rather than internal values. Hidden costs, increased anxiety, disrupted sleep, fragmented identity, diminished real-life social skills. When I first learned this, I realized I was doing exactly what the system wanted, chasing metrics, feeling good when engagement spiked, disappointed when it dropped, and cheapening my sense of self in the bargain. The villain isn't your feed. It is how your brain is being rewired to feed the feed. And now for the industry secrets. App designers use exactly this principle. Reward loops, variable reinforcement. You don't always get a like, so you keep checking. Casinos discovered this decades ago. Intermittent rewards keep you hooked. Social media platforms borrowed that playbook. Advertisers exploit identity shaping. Be this version of yourself. Your worth is shown in your pics, likes, followers. You're now in the know. Every time the feed lights up, it's not just a notification. It's an attempt to reshape your identity and attention. Here are 3 neuroscience-backed techniques you can use to regain control. Technique: Feed Pause Protocol. Steps: Choose one day, week where you scroll only once in the evening for 15 minutes. Set a timer. No other use. Why it works: It reduces cortisol and dopamine spikes tied to random feedback, letting your prefrontal cortex re-engage control. Realistic timeline: 2 weeks to notice calmer mind, fewer impulsive scrolls. Technique: Identity Anchor Journal. Steps: Each evening write one sentence. Today I felt valued because. Today I showed up for. No metrics, no social media mentions. Why it works: It engages the hippocampus in internalizing your self-worth beyond external likes, strengthens MPFC, medial prefrontal cortex, self-narrative. Timeline: 30 days to shift identity cues away from the feed. Technique: Social media mindfulness check. Steps: Before opening any app, ask, what am I seeking? How will I know I'm done? Use built-in screen time monitor. Why it works: Activates your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, self-regulation, and interrupts autopilot feed loops. Timeline: Noticeable within 1 week, less impulsive opening of apps. Bonus technique: Offline value action. Steps: Once week, meet someone IRL, talk without phones for at least 30 minutes. Why? Reinforces social circuits outside algorithmic ones, rebalances amygdala and social reward systems. Timeline: Within 4 to 6 weeks, you'll feel less on edge after scroll sessions. Here's the bigger picture. This isn't just about you, it's a societal shift. The constant reshaping of identity via social media links to broader topics: self-determination, social capital, attention economy. Recent 2023 meta-analysis shows adults too are affected, not just teens. As platforms evolve, Reels, Shorts, Stories, the speed of feedback increases and the identity loops tighten. Future research 2024-25 will likely show deeper links between algorithm exposure and mental health across age groups. What you do now doesn't just protect your brain, it shapes how society uses technology. And you, as a content creator, you're at the front line. For the next 7 days, try the Feed Pause Protocol and comment your results below. You are not being invaded by social media. You are being rewired by your brain's response to social media. Unpopular opinion: social media isn't just a tool, it is the default identity shaping space of this generation. Change my mind in the comments. What's the one area where your identity is most shaped by the feed? Mine is measuring success by views rather than value. Drop your version below and let's get real in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you found this useful, hit subscribe. Share this with someone whose feed maybe matters more than it should. And I'll see you in the next deep dive.